Hey Fearless Ones, I'm the Comics Kid 2099, and as always on Saturdays, I'm here to talk about an episode of a superhero animated series. Today, I'll be talking about the new Batman Adventures episode, Never Fear. If you haven't seen the episode, I'll be spoiling stuff, so go watch it. Or if you have seen it, but it's been a while, stick around while I refresh your memory with a brief plot synopsis. Some dude is doing dangerous acrobatic stuff which almost gets him killed, but he's not afraid because he's been doused with the Scarecrow's new and improved fear toxin, which takes away fear instead of compounding it. While investigating, Bruce gets doused with it, and Robin has to try and deal with the crisis of Scarecrow blackmailing the city while also dealing with the loose cannon of Batman. Eventually, evil is defeated. Cue credits. I have to say, I'm kind of surprised this series is still able to find ways to reuse the Scarecrow. I don't have anything against the character, but I do feel like he's more of a one-note character than, say, the Joker, who has been used many more times and in different ways. But with Scarecrow, he has a fear toxin that makes people scared. There's not much you can do with that for recurring appearances. This series has played around with how the fear toxin works, like in the episode Fear of Victory, where it is delivered by adrenaline. But by and large, it's always the same old toxin, same old song and dance. But this episode changes the fear toxin so that it takes away your fear instead of increasing it. And while you might initially react like Robin did and say that that's a good thing, it certainly isn't, as it makes the victims dangerous to themselves and to others. And Scarecrow knows this and uses this improved fear toxin to blackmail the city. Admittedly, you could ask yourself why he never tried blackmailing the city before, since his other fear toxins were just as dangerous, but hey, I'm going to let that slide. But what's great about this episode is that it doesn't really focus on Scarecrow. It uses the plot device of his new fear toxin as a way to examine Batman a little bit. When he gets doused with the fear toxin, he's not a danger to himself like the dude at the beginning of the episode, because he's more competently trained and he can take care of himself. But he is a danger to others, as we see that the fear toxin makes him willing to let a thug die. Initially, I was resistant to the idea that it is solely fear that keeps Batman from killing people and not some deeper moral code. But then I remembered a speech that Batman gave to Jason at the end of the Under the Red Hood movie, where he said that killing the bad guys would be too easy, and if he did it once, he would keep doing it, and he wouldn't be able to stop himself. While he doesn't come right out and say it, it's fear that drives him not to kill. So it makes perfect sense that he would be more willing to let people die while under the influence. Honestly, if this series wasn't designed to be more for kiddies than the previous seasons of Batman the Animated Series, then I would say this episode should have seen Batman even try to directly kill someone. Not succeed, of course, but since the fear toxin is already loosening his inhibitions, now would have been a really good time to show that. But I'm not upset that we didn't get that in this episode. I haven't been crazy about this version of Robin so far, but I think he's used well enough here. The episode doesn't really do much with him directly though. Instead, we alter Batman and then we get to see how Robin reacts to that. In the comics, and even here in this show too, to an extent, Batman is almost never allowed to be wrong in any way. Whether it's an argument between Superman and Batman, or an episode like this where he's out of control and someone has to stop him, we almost never get to see Batman be on that side of the argument. I think it's because Batman is air quotes cool in the eyes of like 90% of the world, and if you start having Superman win arguments against him, or do episodes where Robin ties him up and tells him off, then that takes away his air quotes cool factor. The same thing could be observed about Wolverine from Marvel Comics, but this episode actually dares to show Batman be in the wrong. He's not himself, and Robin sees that and takes action. This does tell us a little bit about this kid, since he's pretty new to this whole sidekick thing, and you might expect him not to directly confront his new mentor out of fear, there's that word again, that he might be let go from the hero thing if he disobeys Batman. Heck, at the very least, I was half expecting him to call in Batgirl and Nightwing to do an intervention to confront him, since they know him better, and he might listen to them over some kid who just started a couple of weeks ago. But no, I'm glad to see that he tries to handle this on his own. Now, going after Scarecrow by himself, that's a little reckless, yeah, but what else would you expect from Jason Todd? Yeah, this bit might be getting old, but this kid is still more Jason Todd than Tim Drake, so it bears mentioning again and again. This episode reminds me a little bit of Detective Comics 571, where Scarecrow also took away people's fears to disastrous results. This isn't the first time that issue has served as an inspiration to this series, as the aforementioned episode Fear of Victory had Scarecrow targeting athletes, which was what he did in that issue of Detective. Now, I guess it's possible that Scarecrow did take away fear on multiple occasions like he does here, even though he is mostly known for increasing fear with his toxin. But if he did do it on other occasions, I'm unaware of those instances, so I assume this is the second time that issue was influential in the creation of an episode of this series. That's about all I had to say about this episode, guys. Overall, I liked it. It was a great use of Scarecrow as a device to explore Batman a little bit, and in turn get to know this new Robin a little bit as well. I wasn't really sure what to expect with this episode, but I certainly wasn't expecting as good of an episode as what we got. So those are my thoughts. But what did you guys think of the episode and of my review? If you liked it, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you did like it, you're in luck, because I do this sort of video weekly, and I also do other videos throughout the week, so be sure to check out those too if you're interested. In the meantime, I'll see you guys in the future. Have a great rest of the day.